Hi, I'm Marty Nenko. As a career counselor, part of my job is to anticipate trends and the implications for people at work and for those who are looking for work. These 5 trends stand out. First, the importance of the virtual after COVID subsides. The restrictions on travel have made clear what many organizations have long known, that making workers commute, let alone commute into a so-called open workspace, at which you can't even hear yourself think, may be ill-advised. Employers are also rethinking whether those fly-to meetings are worth the cost, the time, the hassle, and the incursions into home life. If indeed work at home will continue to be with us, you might ask yourself, are people who are living with you too distracting from your work? If so, do you need to set firmer work-life boundaries? Do you need to try to find better childcare options? Do you need to teach yourself how to better use some video conferencing platform? For example, how to run a Zoom meeting, how to optimally use chat rooms, or simply how to change the background from your home's tornado to House Beautiful. If you're a leader or manager, should you at least give more employees the option to work at home? At minimum on, quote, flexible Fridays, should you offer training to your employees on how to make the most of Zoom? If you're a job seeker, should you tout your ability to work well remotely or manage people remotely? The second trend I want to talk with you about is subclinical mental health. Even before COVID, many people suffered from subclinical emotional issues. For many, COVID amplified those issues or even created them. For example, a client told me that she was quite an upbeat person, but as an extrovert and she's fun-centric, the COVID shutdowns, now ever more restrictive, have little by little made her not only sadder, but more easily upset both at herself and at her supervisees. Of course, that's bad not just for her supervisees, but for the security of her employment. While malaise that rises beyond a certain point is covered under the Mental Health Parity Act, millions of people suffer from subclinical issues that deserve increased attention, including in the workplace. This isn't necessarily a call for a formal program, but managers and leaders might want to do simple things, such as tactfully commenting on a decline in a supervisee's demeanor, like, "You seem a little less happy than usual. Are you okay?" And if the person gives the usual, "I'm fine," maybe offer the person a chance to go beyond that and say, maybe, "Really?" And wait. Sometimes the truth beneath the veneer emerges, whereupon you might want to discuss it at least briefly. At minimum, that'll make the employee feel cared about, and at a maximum, it'll help. The third trend I want to talk about is the work implications of the election. The recent election and cabinet nominations make likely that spending will increase in government agencies that address climate change and those that serve primarily the poor and people of color. For example, housing and urban development, health and human services, and the citizenship and immigration services. You might consider those whether you're looking for a job or you're on the job and deciding on your or your supervisee's focus. For example, if your company or even a nonprofit is offering a product or service, should it adjust to capitalize on those areas of increased spending? For example, might you want to sell to the government, emphasizing how your product or service would serve the administration's priorities? Cyber invasions to influence the election by state actors such as China and Russia are increasing attention to cybersecurity. Security-related jobs will likely increase because of that, and other vectors such as home and small business security and efforts to prevent invasions of our accounts at online retailers. Other serious threats that aren't on the public radar exist too, like the COVID pandemic reminds us that, for example, a bioterrorism attack on our air or water could be cataclysmic. Security is one of the few fields that would seem recession-proof. Fourth trend, increased need for employees to up their game. A number of my clients who are managers or leaders are reporting that the COVID-related layoffs that they were forced to make have helped them realize that fewer employees are actually needed, even post-COVID. These managers plan to increase their focus on helping the reduced workforce to work smarter and to use technology more wisely. That suggests that the high and underemployment rate will continue even after COVID dissipates. So whether employed or not, it's more important than ever to keep your skills current. Is there an important skill that you should acquire or upgrade? That may not mean necessarily going back to school. As one of my clients did on getting a promotion to management, she simply took a highly rated online course on management on Udemy, That's udemy.com, and read my article, 5 Things That Excellent Managers Do. You could find it by Googling it. Finally, I have to say that some people, despite efforts, will not be making as much money post-COVID. They'll have to, and I'm certainly not saying it's easy, learn to live on less and find their contentment less from the material and more from relationships and creativity. Finally, the fifth trend, the increased need for job seekers to up their game. The greater number of people looking for work means that job seekers need to rely ever more on their network to levitate their application to the top of the pile. It may also help if your applications include a work sample, for example, a report you wrote or a short paper that would address a key issue listed in the job ad. Also, knowing that you're going to be competing against more applicants, do apply only for jobs for which your application would likely be top tier. Otherwise, you risk putting in a lot of effort and burning some of your emotional gas. You don't want to run out of gas before you land a good job. That greater number of applicants is also stimulating employers' increased use of AI-assisted screening tools. So, if you're applying and you're seeing such a tool being used, check out the app's website. That could improve your prospects of landing the job. Finally, I guess I don't have to say that again. Finally, I just want to offer a word of hope. Humankind has not only survived, but improved its existence for millennia in ways that no one could have anticipated. For example, who knows? Maybe right now we have an enormous amount of financialization of the dollars in this world, and maybe there'll be a massive redistribution to the middle class. Who knows? But certainly, few people would argue that life today, despite COVID, is worse than in previous eras. It seems reasonable to bet that humankind will continue its trend upward. In any event, I do thank you for watching. I'm Marty Nemko. I welcome your thumbs up and accept your thumbs down. I always look forward to your comments, and especially like if you hit the share button below, share on your social media so that my efforts can have broader impact, and I am flattered if you choose to subscribe to my channel. In any event, I do thank you for watching. I am Marty Nemko.